Well, that's check for a second. Setting that aside, welcome everybody. Welcome to another monthly review. We're actually here for the December monthly review. Um, but yeah, no, I seem to have forgotten a little bit earlier than usual, or later than usual. I was not intending to forget. However, it seems that I kind of amongst things during the whole last month debacle about me basically feeling I was missing like a whole week. Um, yeah, no, so let's talk a couple of things actually. So, let's actually start with dailies, typical stuff mostly because among things I kind of would like to do these as kind of it goes. But honestly, yeah, no, this the past month was relatively hectic. Honestly, um, a couple of misses, like definitely like really big misses, from Toon Caravan so far, to be honest with you. And even like just the past two banners, like for holiday specials, have been kind of okay. I will say though, the yellow monthly banner that we had, and we'll see if I can actually pull it up in a minute. Um, the yellow monthly banner that we had was really nice. I do think it's amongst our best kind of things we've had for the past few events. I believe that was during December. It feels a little bit surreal. I'm gonna actually have to get to my thumbnails mostly because um, my computer is kind of bugging out a little bit. So I can't quite go and do what I want to do with this. So it's kind of a little bit of on a risk point at this point. Essentially, my fan's starting to fail properly now, so it's kind of like, oh, you're trying to play a game, and it's losing its mind essentially right now. So I'm trying to play the game, and then I start hearing the fan blades of suffering, essentially, um, and it's really not fun, for sure. But yeah, no, for PvP, I really have because actually we're coming on this, right? So I'm kind of autoing PvP. I haven't felt quite the same joy I have in like the past months before. It definitely feels really stale, and feels like it's like a competition who has like either the most kind of dupes, at least for power class kind of stuff. Because I'm at like 127. This is like the highest I've been in a minute. But no, a lot of it is really just strong yellow teams. Um, Actually, I'm kind of surprised there's most strong yellow teams. I guess the new characters just kind of dropped. It just kind of cleaned. Yeah, here obviously Shadow, the new blue Shadow kind of clowns on some teams, especially with the blue kind of prospects. It does really well. It's not bad. I think I've gotten to the point where I finally built up enough characters that I actually have enough variety. But in talking in that, let's talk a little bit about upgrades. I've actually had a couple of campaigns as well, and yeah, no. So I've been essentially. Let me show you right. I have been uh, taking my sweet time just upgrading characters. Not necessarily because I want to. I'm actually gonna change the soundtrack on this because I'm kind of done with Christmas at the moment. We're gonna go to the standard Shadowfest outfit. I like the other outfit, but I do not like so much to be like spammed with Christmassy themes. It doesn't help that at this point, since I'm like just kind of streaming and like trying to avoid copyright, I can't really play any of the audio from the actual, well, from the show itself, right? So a lot of the intro song is really good if you're like just playing on your own, but it's really bad if you're like kind of like a creator and stuff. Um, because I like the songs of that. Something kind of just kind of hit by me. This just kind of hurts. It's nothing grand. It's just really odd to really think about. But no, the past months it's just really really just been trying to farm up to use characters. It hasn't felt quite good. And even like the stories have felt the same, especially with the weakening of your characters if you're not using the correct typings on the in the damage war kind of thing. They also did remove the medium challenge mode as well, which didn't really matter too much, but I was kind of impressed. Not so much impressed as like questioning why they removed it. Not like it really changed anything, but I was just kind of curious as to what the point of that was. Before it used to cost something, but now it's just kind of beginner, normal, and then hard. I honestly thought they should have probably done something rather than normal here. It should have done normal, medium, and then hard. And then challenge, just kind of on your own kind of thing. But even setting that aside, yeah, for upgrades, there hasn't really been anything that I've really gotten like new. I kind of dropped like a fat like 63k on like the banner for for Gamma, so that was kind of like the biggest thing that I did like for the past month. Banners wise, I didn't really get anything particularly interesting. Again, Shadow for like towards the end of like the month kind of banner, kind of like absolutely have never felt such horrid RNG. I don't think that was like really towards the new one. Actually, let me see if I can rank by when obtained. Sad I cannot. I think I might have to order the weapons now, I think. And we're gonna really take a little bit of a look at this. Yeah, because like banners has been kind of like relatively dead. The holiday banner wasn't kind of like really there. The current one is not bad. I will say this, and like this kind of getting to like the current month. But again, the most they've given us is kind of like the New Year's polls, which is kind of okay. The New Year's events for Epsilon is really nice. Getting Epsilon is actually like a really good character to get. I think this is definitely like an overall win for a character because she's really good. It actually allowed me to get like my secondary weapon slot unlocked with that. I thought I had previously actually maxed it out, but I apparently hadn't. And I think that was because it was me trying to figure out how to play the game still back then. So I actually missed out on a dupe for her, so I could have gotten her twice. But setting that aside, it definitely has seen better days, I think, at this point. Personally, the patch has been kind of mildly disappointing. At least for New Year's. For December, it was relatively okay. Again, nothing really needs to summon on. There was like a lot of mixture bait banners. Shadowfest Shadow was okay. Wasn't anything aesthetically pleasing to me personally, so that was just kind of a skip. They had the yellow bait banner that like basically if you summon on this one, you're not going to summon on the next one. The problem is that since most of us already knew what was kind of expecting to happen, Shadow was going to drop. We kind of saw some hints on like their YouTube, so I was like, yeah, I'm just going to summon on this. There's no point on me. Like the banner was really good, especially compared to like the other free banners that we've gotten, and by free I mean like mediocre to just plain shit. And these are paid banners, mind you. These are like I was actually correct. There's actually Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. This is the current one. I wanted to make like a separate video on this, but I'm just gonna kind of throw it in there. I think this banner is actually not that bad. The reason being is because you can actually get 33 pulls, or at the very least 3 temples, and the way they actually set it up is actually really good. Why? Let me be specific. So they actually guarantee you a Shadowfest character on this things. You can only pay 3 times, so that kind of makes sense. Obviously, it's more expensive than the other one. However, from the looks of things, you actually have 3 chances of getting a Shadowfest character. Actually, probably towards 4, to be honest with you, because you get a ticket. you get to summon another time, and then on the last third time, which you get guaranteed every single time, right? So you have a chance every single time. After you get to like get the selected character, and even on top of that, you get the weapon. You get 10 of each weapon, which is really nice. I think they should have done the same thing for the other ones. I think this as a whale is probably the best bet, especially since this is technically on a discount. I don't know what they were thinking with the other ones at 6,000 a pop. $100 per summon is insane already. Especially with, again, non guarantees are always kind of like, you're kind of gambling. And again, even if you do pull once, maybe it's not the one you wanted, so you kind of get something kind of shit. In this, you have 3 opportunities. Maybe you get Alexia early. That doesn't really matter too much because you can then select the one you don't have and then move on from there. But for these banners, these were okay. Again, we had kind of like, again, the typical revival banners. They kind of dropped some of these ones kind of a little bit towards the early December kind of thing. So we did actually see these ones for a little bit longer than I expected. So we kind of had these ones going from December, kind of Christmassy time to that. So that's kind of like the other half is what we have currently. So this is what we had, and we also had the Bait Yellow Elf banner, which is really good compared to everything else right now. To be honest, I would rather summon on that one than this one, especially if you're a paid person. This is shit. This is relatively shit. I think in Perfect Swordplay, Alexia is still one of the best blue tanks. But like some of the best blue tanks in a period. But even then, you kind of get like Shadow, which again, not necessarily like a bad character for kind of starting out. It is relatively expensive again, especially for like $50 a pop. We're talking expensive kind of stuff. And this is assuming you buy the most efficiently, like the one that gives you the most money. I would recommend that if you're in case buying it. Because if you're buying that much, you're kind of already invested in the game. Would I recommend you buy it anyway? Not really. If you already have Shadowfist Alexia, you kind of should move on from this banner. I wouldn't recommend this one. The New Year's free pulls are kind of mid, as kind of expected. These are just kind of like free pulls that he gets. I think they kind of been dropping in some of these banners a bit again. It's free stuff, so you don't really complain. But again, no new selection characters, which is fine. I totally get it, but it's kind of really lackluster. And I think what they might be building up to is maybe the Black Rose event, because I have seen hints to that. And even if I go right now in the missions tab, they have, 11:59. This might actually just not be accurate anymore, to be honest with you, because this might have just be something they kind of had scheduled on the timing thing. I was kind of expecting us to get this, but since we didn't, there was just no reason to. So I think they kind of missed out on running that event, for example. Which, again, big miss on them. I definitely think they could have done something more with it, especially since that was a really fun event. It gave like lots of materials. It made me hype. It was like essentially like a world boss for everybody to kind of handle. It was nice. It was easy. I think, again, one of the biggest things they had is kind of limited amount of people that can actually run these stations. I ended up missing some gems from that. So that was a little bit kind of annoying, if anything. Not the end of the world again, but it definitely could be better. But even from that perspective, the game has been kind of okay. It definitely felt a little bit better during around whatchamacallit. During November. During November was really where it really felt really nice when we were heading to like second anniversary. Felt really good. Shadowfest kind of thing was really nice. I missed out myself personally. December kind of has really kind of dropped off. It looked like a lot, especially with the kind of Shadowfest like duo of Aurora and Shadow kind of felt really dropped off. And again, especially with like that, including the mixture of things, so we really haven't. Most people, I will say most people, like me personally, right? I haven't really felt the urge to kind of really try the events. It's obviously that I can probably do better on these events. I think Strike told me that like my score is kind of pitiful. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm kind of just trying some shit. It's really hard to really think about even trying to like hire stuff when I don't feel like I'm in that spot yet. And I've been playing for like a year, man. I can't even imagine anybody coming in and just trying this game out and seeing if you can do it. I'm like, I don't know. Honestly, do the best you can and just try everything that you can do. The boss hunt, I don't even want to tell you to bother with anything higher because the guild hunt has felt kind of shit lately, especially with the limitations of you only being able to use like particular characters. It is really annoying to use anything like anything that's like counter, and I have noticed people like really funny complaining about that when you can't use Blue Shadow Epsilon, you get absolutely creamed. That's kind of one of the issues that I thought about. That like people don't really think about it. You can use that character, but if it gets touched, if it so much as like takes damage from that stage, you're gone. You can obviously try and do more damage, which again is possible. It's not like super difficult or whatever, but it is one of those things that I haven't seen this one, but I think it's going to be the same goddamn shit as before. And again, we've seen it at a Sage's Gift, the perfect made kind of thing is where it started off. The Dreamy Summer review was fine. Again, these are more rewards for the damage ranking stuff, which I think is fine, but I don't think you should actually block off like even doing damage for certain things, because again, my personal thing is it takes months, and I mean literal months, for you to level up a character how you want it. To be able to use it on like proper gameplay and kind of get to like the top 5% kind of stuff, you either have to have like the right characters, which means you had like really lucky or you spent money, or the second option, you waited enough time, you farmed enough of your materials, you weren't able to buy everything, and like if you're paying, you're already probably getting the best of the best. Because even then, there is a limit. There's an actual physical limit to what you can buy anyway. Which, to me, kind of confuses me a little bit, because if you buy like the most efficient bonus packs that they have in here, that's still not enough. Like, why would you buy only one? Like, I look at these and I'm like, these are so cheap. Like, come on. Like, this is not enough pulls for me to, like, have, like, a good time on this stuff. Like, this is, like, what, 10 pulls? It's obviously cheaper than, like, the other one, but you're still using paid currency. Like, you spend money, I think you should get more. Like, obviously it feels kind of, like, really shitty, like, the paid ones are worth more than the other ones, but they should be worth more. You're paying money for this. And again, you obviously have these bonuses, which, again, some of these I don't know if they've reset once. They probably have, maybe, during maybe November sales and stuff, but even then, I've been just kind of like, again, always one of those issues where you kind of like watch the game. Like, it's been bad from the beginning. It has gotten better, but it feels kind of like one step forward, two steps back. And it's not like the craziest thing ever, because again, I personally don't like doing Sanctuary, to be honest with you. It was kind of boring. It was kind of like one of those things you kind of should do. It's like it's recommended that you do Sanctuary. So this is like 300 gems a week. But it's not really so... It's not good to me. It's not fun. Like, it's kind of like interesting because it kind of has like a route you can go with buffs and stuff. But I don't even know like how much like the memory rate, which is essentially like a roguelike kind of thing where you select your buffs. You have to use the characters up to a certain degree, and they have to be like level 89, rank 13, and obviously you're going to be limited by that, which isn't the biggest issue. At least for early players, what you're going to hit is the issue of not enough character variety. Since even if you do this, by the way, even if you do this as best as you can, right? You only get two. Okay, so you only get two options. Even if you get like more variety, you can only choose from one of those. which obviously these ones are maxed to have weapon cosmetics, which is kind of nice. You get to try them out, which I think is kind of like the best thing you can really do from this. But it's really kind of mild to mediocre at times. And like, this is not like, and I personally sometimes have like difficulty understanding what the gimmick on these are, and typically it's just having immunity or just being able to tank it, be able to be tanky enough to tank the first hit from the boss at the end. Which, again, great mechanic, especially if you're kind of just autoing the entire thing. Sometimes you accidentally auto at the last phase, and you die. You don't know why you died. You question, maybe I can retry this again, but by the time you do that, well, guess what happened? You can't retry after dying on auto. Which I don't entirely understand why they do that. They do punish you. You can use as many characters as you want. But my concern isn't so much can I kill this with enough characters. It's just why like this? Because again, they like obviously like the limitations like a health ban. You can use as many characters as you want to clear this, but it feels really weird. It feels really weird. It's not satisfying to me to play this game specifically. It's kind of the first 3 floors are fine. You can probably get like 100 every week and just be fine. But where it's at is the hard one. Where it's at is the hard one, and you can go from 1 to 2. You still have to clear the first 2 floors. I kind of wish you could just go through the 3rd one and move on, but you have to clear 1 and 2 to maybe. This is sometimes maybe, because sometimes you don't get the right buff, and then sometimes they hit you with a dump truck. The 3rd floor can either kill you instantly or not kill you at all. It is really bizarre, and especially since they limit you at rank 13, it's kind of, this is where they limit you at. Most people can kind of reach this into a reasonable stage, which I think is fine. I think, honestly, what they probably should do is kind of rank everybody up to that stage so you can actually try it, so people aren't really stuck, and it's more like strategy-based. So, like, hey, you have these characters, let me level them up for you so you can actually use them in a reasonable fashion. Because, by the way, early game, you can reach the rank 13. Sure, it still takes you quite a while to reach rank 13. It is genuinely a lot of stamina. And that's assuming you were able to clear the highest stages. Because, heck, look at this now, right? If we go to 7 Shadow Chronicles, if we go to Normal Quest, we go to chapter, the one I'm at, which is not even the highest one, by the way, chapter 31, right? We should click 31-6. You need 52,000 battle power, like, just power, right? This is the estimated power that you should have to be able to clear this. And this is one of those things that is like, it's not so much even like a battle of power, because you can have power, but if your characters don't have enough synergy, especially early on in the game, you kind of get stuck. And I personally struggle with that very heavily in the beginning. And I am kind of starting to not so much struggle with some of these things, but it should be easy for me to fight these events. It should be easy. A year? Like, I'll tell you specifically, right? If I go back to the first event I ever came in, which I wasn't able to clear challenge mode at all, and that just auto it, right? I came in during, I get from Miss Hanta again. That's where I came in. I can do boss hunt, I can do challenge mode, I can click battle, and I can just auto on my red team. Now, I don't think this is quite the best, but I could probably still be fine with this. Let's try this. Just as it is. Let's try this like this. But the primary thing I kind of want to talk about is just not so much my disappointment as it is just kind of my concern for the game, which has always been there. I didn't want to play this primarily for 2 reasons. The necessity in having to focus on element team-based comps, as well as having to focus on whatchamacallit, element team-based comps, as well as that's the last one. Yeah, element team-based comps, as well as just that's clear. It's an auto. Who would have thought? Yeah, it's element team-based comps, as well as kind of just like the difficulty scaling from like one point to another, and as well as kind of like the gathering. Oh no, there's three actually. Element team-based composition kind of just being so hard countered, right? If you have the wrong element, you take like 30% damage from them and deal 30% damage back to you, which is a 60% difference in damage. So you take like a total of 60%. At least that's from what I've seen, because it's significant enough that certain characters will take so much less damage, even when they're like really high rank. I'm not exactly sure, but that's how I understood it. I'm not quite sure that's how they implied it, but that's what I'm kind of getting. Right, so that's how much like the elemental kind of significance, having like the difference in like stats and stuff, 60% difference in like taking damage and stuff. Lagginess on like mobile devices was also one. I couldn't really run it on my phone. I run it here on my phone here and there if I'm really that desperate or kind of don't have the time. It's a buggy mess still. As well as kind of just the gathering of equipment. I'm still trying to farm many characters' equipment. It has gotten easier, but it's only, and I mean specifically only, during special events. November, increase different, like, they give you like an exchange shop where you kind of like gather all these stuff, like 1.5 anniversaries too. That's where they kind of get you. And again, this means absolutely nothing to me. I killed it with nothing. If I go to the most recent challenge boss that I can actually hit with actual damage, I don't think it's this one specifically. I think the Perdition in the Shadow might be the most recent one for red. If I click on the challenge mode and I just kind of set my character in auto, I'm gonna die. I'm almost sure I'm gonna die. And it's not for any super particular reason as much as it is just the power creep some of the enemies is insane. Yeah, pardon me, my game is sort of lagging a little bit. I'm not quite sure why. Alright, I'm gonna leave this running on auto. Oh, look at that, I'm almost dead already. Am I gonna be able to clear it on auto? Heal, tank, some damage. Having an invincibility frame or invincibility sometimes not bad. Though I don't doubt I'm actually gonna be removed shortly enough. Alright, we're gonna heal full heal from here, and then it's gonna deal some damage. I hope I still have invincibility in this case. I still did, so I can kind of ignore it. I'm not doing anything, by the way. I'm just kind of setting it on auto and just letting it go. Shadow kind of hitting damage. And by the way, if you can tell, I'm not even able to use my character's skills. That was a lot of damage, though. That's pretty good damage for there. I was able to clear it. I'm kind of surprised, to be honest with him. If we look at my damage report, we covered 34,000. Damage received 41,000 damage. Almost everybody would have died if it actually taken like that type of stuff head on. One of the things to kind of do notice, by the way, me taking damage is kind of like a big difference of me like living in that. Honestly, I do think you could probably live through this fairly easily if you introduce another tank, specifically red Eclair. I think this is going to be like a really big joke on this. But you can't really do this for everybody, of course. We're going to go back. I think I put Ret Tank Claire. It's probably fine. And that's just because she's overpowered, really. I'm just going to take some damage. Okay. Or put it like that. We still have mostly red teams, whatever. Mostly humans. Probably replace Lambda, but no, it's just kind of like crit damage amongst stuff. We're gonna leave it like this. But it's kind of like it's one of those things that it's kind of like very nuanced because certain things are like, hey, you can live through it without these things, and so on and so forth. But like some of the, well, for starters, they're immune to bleed. Do you know how many characters cause bleed? Some of the best characters in the game cause bleed. Shadowfist Aurora, Shadowfist Aurora, and like in Shadow. Look at that damage. Now that hurt. I think it's another fine. So they're kind of dodging. So, but setting that aside, I think it should be dodge. Should be kind of maxed out now at this point. But for me, it's yeah, I'm kind of impressed by this kind of fighting. It's really just kind of like a war for attrition at this point, at least for challenging kind of thing. The problem with me is how long it takes for this to be viable. I have missed out on so many events to even try and challenge mode that I don't even really like thinking about it. It doesn't even help when they kind of give you like the kind of FOMO, like you gotta have like the titles and whatever. Was able to clear it. It really doesn't matter. It's fine. They missed out on damage, but we're able to clear it. The damage is fine. It's whatever. Which if I try one of the more recent ones, I'm obviously gonna get clowned on. Let's try doing some review. And actually, let's just do Summer in the Wild. I think is that red on red? Is that red on red? Weakness to that. Holy fucking shit! What the hell is that health bar? What the fuck? What in the world happened? That's wait a second. I just saw that. It went from 4 million health to double the health on the next one. What the fuck happened? Not even High Stream had that level scaling. What the fuck? I don't think I didn't clear that when I kind of skimmed it. Might see Damp Valentine. Did I do that one? No, I also didn't do that one. Odd. Very odd. Especially kind of came in here through this. I guess I just actually start paying attention to like around the little bit producer in the shadow kind of thing. That is very fascinating. Because again, I can obviously clear like anything before this. These like all of these are kind of jokes at this point. But from here, this is where it kind of came in. I struggled to even clear the. I think I'm allowed to do it. I struggled to kind of like do the mid-level one before. I can't remember. Yeah, 12,000 was kind of it was fairly big when I was kind of coming in from like level 36. Again, I'm not really. I really didn't really like how much like the game was going. I'm kind of here, kind of just collecting characters and kind of just. It's not even for a good reason. I'm just kind of filling up the characters. I love the franchise that much. I love the EminenceinShadow just that much. And even like the story is kind of okay. We haven't gotten. I guess what would be next for us at least would be the kind of like next patch of Apocrypha would be like the next kind of story stuff. Yeah, these kind of few things are kind of fine. I think they're honestly they feel a little bit out of place. It could be worse. The Seven Shadow Chronicles, I think, is kind of like the most okay type of stuff. It definitely feels something. If you know the series Danmachi, it definitely feels like Sword or Oratoria. To me, it's like the best way to compare it. It's kind of like the alternative perspective of like the EminenceinShadow. The EminenceinShadow is just very solid. I like the story, and they have kind of like fumbled a little bit of even like the main story. They're missing some stuff. But it's really even hard to tell, like unless you actually play it. I personally got really hard locked around chapter 20 originally, and then I just had to farm. And after farming for so long, I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of completely stopped even caring about like anything else other than like the gameplay. The gameplay's fine. It's kind of like timing kind of thing. You like, hey, make sure the time is correct. It's fine. It's interesting. And the characters are really top tier. Realistically, they're like nice models and stuff. But my account has felt like it's slowed down. I think it's kind of like a given, given where you like kind of like go from nothing to like getting a lot of stuff. It's kind of like it's like a line where it kind of like levels off. Like I'm trying to reach the peak, but the peak is like a really steep hill. It's difficult. It's really just straight up just really difficult to like do anything because things take months. How I'll tell you specifically. So I have this side project, and it's just kind of like leveling up the shadow base. I have been trying to gather materials, and hold on. Can I actually upon upgrade? No, I still can't. I'm still missing 131,000 mats. Already leveled up this. Oh my god. I guess you need more wood than you need the other stuff. That's kind of insane. This one's reversed, though. No, same amount. What the hell? That's very peculiar. No, you need more here, like 80,000, 200,000 stone, then 201,000 net, 322,000 wood, and then how much is this? About balance. It's about the same. But this has been like something I've been working towards, and I haven't really bothered. This runs by itself. This is supposed to give you extra mats, but I'm not gonna hold you. They need to increase the progress because it takes literal days. I need to at least I need to double to triple it because I cannot use any of the materials for like the lower stuff. I farm them enough already, even from like just like the stamina consumption. But this feels really kind of pointless, even from like the harder to get stuff. Let me actually see. Let me double check. Sapphire staff. If we change what I get from this, because I could upgrade this, but again, this is kind of like it's not the most expensive stuff, but this would set me back literal days. Some of the stuff, buying an upgrade for this will set me back days. Only for like some of the stuff to be like relatively mediocre still. Like as you can tell, I have everything here, and I believe it's kind of like the high stuff. Let's try rank 10. Nope, I'm missing some stuff there. Maybe rank, because I'm missing some stuff from rank 9, I think. Not so much as I thought I would be missing, but rank 8 maybe. Nothing in peculiar. Rank 8 is fine. Rank 7. And again, most of the stuff kind of levels off and kind of starting to miss some stuff in like rank, like the kind of like the lower ranks or whatever. But again, like those ones are really worthless to farm, so you should be farming like the ones that are like kind of like towards the peak, because then you have enough upgrades like for the rest of them. But the problem they end up having is that some of the lower ones are really tedious to farm. I think, yeah, I was missing one of these ones, so I'm actually going to select that one right now. Close that, don't click on enhance. I've made that mistake in the past several times. But again, I personally, by the way, I remember you, the one person that asked me about my shadow base. This is level 11. The reason people don't see this higher is literally because it's super fucking difficult to level up. It is undeniably stupidly difficult to level this up. Like, it is so much goddamn materials. It takes months. I have been just watching this farm. I've never reached capacity, by the way. There's a max amount you can reach on some of these. Never reached it. Haven't reached it. We go look in Shadow Base. Private Room is the most interesting stuff they have, where you like see like certain interactions, certain character logistics, but they have another like 9 levels, man. I don't see the purpose of as many levels being so fucking difficult. I was expecting to be 15 like after a fucking year. Like 15, that's not even like the highest. Like that's like again, it's like we're 75% of the way there. My player rank, my player level, it's 148. This was easier to level up, much easier. Which is obviously because kind of progressively adding more levels. But the shadow base is like, in this case, it's starting to feel like really worthless personally. Because everything else you farm, but you can't even afford to give it the other one because you might as well just farm everything else with stamina because they don't give you enough anyway. Like it is for the lower level stuff, but it is like undeniably like they're kind of like scrounging your balls. Grabbing you by the balls and just telling you, no, you can't have anything. And like again, some of this stuff is fine. It's whatever. Like again, it's pretty simplistic. It's nothing like difficult. It's really relatively simplistic to kind of go through, since it all feels like it's in the same screen. You can auto it. You can like click on that tab, and move on. The upgrading process isn't the hard part. It's the fact that there's nothing to do afterwards. And even when there was something to do, the mini games that they dropped became half like really shitty. If I'm being honest with you, there was like, I know for a fact that I remember this, that when we had the kind of like the jackpot casino event, they had like a blackjack thing. It was, you were so unlikely to win anything. It wasn't even worth using your chips. Hold on, let me show you. Winnie Girls. Yeah, the casino cards of the shadow. This was actually genuinely rigged. This I remember actually being specifically rigged. I remember trying this out myself. I'm not bad at blackjack. I am not bad at blackjack. I'm not bad at like 20 like whatever game this was. I wasn't bad at it. I'm not bad at card games. But this game genuinely made me feel like I was. And I was going off statistics. I'm like the house always wins, which is kind of like, well, obviously they're typically going to win. But like it felt a little bit more towards the fucking ridiculousness. Like there's like again there's like a gamble mechanic, which is kind of like always there. But again, there's like reasonable like probability, and like the fact that it was like 70, like you would win maybe like 1 out of every like 5. And like there was actually like true gambling at that point. If you had been able to buy any like the currency, oh man, like they would have gone into so much trouble. But yeah, no. There's some stuff in this game that needs fixing. I'm not blind to it. Like I'm really not. I like the characters. I'm here for the characters. If it becomes really that heinous to kind of obtain a character, I kind of already know this is a gacha. I know. RNG is not in your favor, but I have seen it be ridiculous. Like, I will say it again, and I'm salty about it, but realistically, how is it possible that my standard pulls were better than my ones on my than on my actual like higher rated pulls? Like statistically, like if you do 200 and you don't know 200, this should be about the same. But if you have better odds, you should have better odds. And like again, one of the things that I think that they should be adding more of is steps. I think to me that's kind of what kills the game a little bit personally. Having no steps, it's like the selection banners obviously have their kind of shitty steps. Like step 30, you get Tuna King Burger. They give you stamina. They know you need stamina, so they give you stamina. That's so funny. And it's even funnier because the amount of stamina used like increases over time even more so. Like I can't even like I'm gonna consume all my stamina like from like here to the next day. Specifically, by the way, because we are currently in a triple drop rate event. You miss out, you miss out. There's really nothing really about it. Some of these events really never come back. The triple drop rate event on these ones are really good. If you miss out on some of them, it's not really like the best. I think I'm gonna kind of time it out enough so that I actually have enough for the last days for these kind of banners. Because as bad as it would be to kind of miss out on some of these ones, triple the rate on a limited event, these things specifically, would be worse than missing out on the other stuff. So I'm actually gonna have to like space it out. I was gonna try and see if I could get Delta stuff, but I don't really want to. Not because she's bad per se, but literally because I don't have her. And by the time I do get her, maybe 3 eons from now, she might be totally useless. If I farm her at that point, it's just to kind of try her out, see if she's okay. Her SSR, and again, a lot of the utility on characters, and this is kind of like now true with like the introduction of limited SS Plus gear. SS Plus gear being given to limited time characters is a bit of a kind of like interesting direction for the game to come. It makes old characters have some utility, but again, fair warning. If you don't have these characters, not only does it make it really impossible, even if you do have the characters, trying to farm them is really difficult. But again, I think I've like yapped enough on this type of stuff. Again, I'll show you kind of like the progress release from last episode perspective. I'm kind of like throwing out like a bunch of shit at it. I'm criticizing the game because I want it to be better. I really do. Cause I love the characters. I really love. I just wish some of them weren't so shit. Like, man, I'll tell you something. I used to love Rose. Like, Rose as a character was really cool. I liked her story. I loved her in like the anime and like even the manga. I really loved her. The most she has is her Shadowfist outfit, and I missed that one. I missed because I thought the New Year's unit was gonna be good. She was. She still is, but man, I'm kind of like salty. I just kind of how it is because I just didn't have enough. Again, I think personally, what they should give you, like especially for early players, is give you enough gems to pull on a banner like 56,000 gems, which sounds like a lot. It is a lot. Maybe even 56k gems seems like a lot. I don't know if you can actually get through that like that much even from story, but even if you go through all the story, it's going to take you time. You don't have enough stamina. The whole point of giving you that much is to kind of get the players introduced to the game, so they get like, hey, this is how much you need. we're going to give you a free pass so you can come back here in like a couple of months after you continue playing and like the game. Like you have a reason to like the game. You attach yourself to something they give you. And I think they actually have introduced kind of like new player Shadowfest characters now, which I think is nice, and I think they have like banners for this type of stuff. Wasn't here when I was kind of playing. Obviously, Shadowfest weren't introduced when I was originally playing. First time I heard of that, I was like, what the fuck are Shadowfests? That is kind of like insane to me, and the fact that we have 12 every like one every month is insane to me as well, by the way. Having a festival character every month feels like worthless. They're essentially just like strong characters that come every month. Monthly strong characters. Which I think is fine. Because it kind of gives you like the opportunity to kind of like throw off the game and just kind of like change stuff. But even then, there's some characters that are from the selection banner that are really just quite good. And if anybody in PvP knows what I'm talking about, all I'm saying, selection banner, standard character. Crazy. She was cool at release. This character just remains so strong in like PvP. She still used today. It's crazy to me. It's crazy how strong she is. And again, you don't have her, you play PvP, you absolutely get shredded. You don't understand anything. There's lazy reason to play. Again, this is kind of like an intake of like December, and just kind of like my overall kind of feelings right now. I'm just farming at this point just to farm to see if I can get something cool, because we also have like other events coming up. New Year's about to end. 2 years so far. I think we also have the VTuber collab, the new VTuber, which I will be making funny things. She's actually more interesting than I thought she was. I actually remembered her. I actually know that VTuber, so we'll be kind of making some kind of meme edits on her because I'm gonna laugh. Or we'll say meme edits. We'll see. But I think is where I'm gonna leave it. Again, let me double check. I'm level 148. Kind of reached that one. Typically, just kind of recently. For titles, I've been upsetting you guys for quite a while with my 133 titles that I just haven't claimed. I hope you can forgive me. But I'm not gonna claim these. I'm gonna claim them when every character I have as SS++. But I just kind of the plan for that. If you've kind of made it through this far, or if you skipped through this thing, just like, yeah, fuck your talking. I don't want to hear. I just want to hear what he said at the end. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this kind of like overall review. I think of my game, like just the game itself, as well as kind of like my thoughts on it so far. It's been a year at this point now, properly a year. I haven't really felt like been washed because the game isn't difficult. Again, nothing difficult. It's mostly strategic planning and making sure you don't fuck yourself over by going all the way in a banner. If you really want a character, go for it. Be aware that there might be some other characters that will kind of be power crept fast. And in this game, it happens ridiculously fast. Especially like within a year, certain characters just kind of became useless. Some still remain meta because of SS plus here, and it's really interesting sometimes. I think we are almost at the cusp, and don't quite quote me on this, but I think we might be at the cusp of perhaps seeing a Shadowfist character SS plus gear. And the reason I say this, they've been throwing in so many limited characters. What else are they going to put in there? And I think if, and only if, they go with them, like, Because if they're putting it limited characters, I don't think Shadowfish should be off the field. I think some of them kind of need like a little bit of a boost. Not everyone needs a boost, obviously. I think some of them do need it. Some of them kind of like fall off compared to what they are now. And if you own them, I think Alpha being like one of them. Obviously, if you have her early game, she's perfectly fine. But like towards late game, I don't see anybody using her, and it's kind of like really sad. Especially with like as many Shadowfishes as you can kind of have in there. There are some that could use a little bit of TLC, but hopefully that may happen. Again, this is kind of theorizing on stuff that might happen. Nothing is for sure. The fact that we're getting limited characters does give me hope that there's going to be some kind of like overall boosting towards certain other characters that do need it, because it's kind of really sad to really have certain characters that you just got and they're absolutely useless. Like, hell, I'd love to use Aurora, but like, I'm not gonna lie, just kind of mid. And by the time I have her like 5+, what am I gonna use? Not her. It's just the top Shadowfest characters, and some of them aren't even useful. But hopefully this because I'm missing like a booster on like my Shadowfest. I have maybe one tank on the Shadowfest. But yeah, no. Hopefully this was enjoyable. Hopefully this wasn't. This was started long, so yeah. Thank you for watching again. If you stick around for this long, leave a comment down below. Complain, criticize me, bend me down to your will, whatever it is. Just let me know your thoughts on the game currently, as well as kind of like what you've been doing, if you've been enjoying it, if you're kind of had your road alongside with me. Let me know your shouts out on it. But yeah, hope you have a wonderful day and stay solid. Bye bye.